good idea.
What? Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Call me. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Call me.
Yeah.
I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Call me genius. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. What I can see in this life is what I can be, so I'm living it right.
You know.
Got a list, I'm checking it twice. Willie, I am number 3 thrice. Yeah, my soul is eternal. Yeah, my soul is eternal. I am moving through the ether, yeah. So connected in the spirit. I'm sowing, then I'm reaping. I'm growing, then I'm teaching. I'm knowing, then I'm seeking.
You
I'm
know.
flowing, then I'm leaking. I'm pouring till it's reaching. Okay. Fill up my cup. You know what's up? To the top. Ain't no surprise. Thinking the wise. We overtaking. It's the
overtaking, brother Leon.
Giving God all the glory. Foundation of the history. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a
master, a creator, a designer. Yeah.
I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Call me genius. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Call me genius. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Yeah. I'm a master, a creator, a designer. Call me genius.
Hey, what's going on, family? Switching things up. But, so the topic at hand today is art and culture. And we back at it again. You got me, Leon the Servant, and my co-host, Divine Liii.
What it do, family?
And
Peace and blessings, my people. Peace and blessings.
Y'all enjoyed that music? Go check out Divine Lii's page. He has it all on the playlist, all his hits, all bangers, all flames. You already know. And we're going to get straight into it. So let's get straight to it.
Welcome, the good people. You are now tuning in live and
direct for the Brew Table Talks, where brews of like mind come together and we talk art and culture. Man, I'm so giddy right now just because this one right here hits close to home.
You know.
Real quick. All right. Let's get it on. All right. So let's get straight into it, family. It's good to see everyone coming in here. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Happy you guys catching another one. Shalom, shalom. So, art, culture. What are they? What do we do with them? Critical talking points. Is art the truest expression? Does art replicates life and vice versa? How expansive is culture? And society rules or culture? We have a lot of pivotal points that we want to bring out today.
Hey, bro. Just because you brought up that thought, does society rule or does culture rule? Literally, how do we even view the behaviors when they're identified by a society instead of by behaviors? When you can say that a society can behave differently and not even know their culture, not even know their history, not even know what to eat. You feel me? Like, hey, you hitting something, brother.
Most definitely, most definitely. So let's chop it up. Let's get into it, right? What is culture? Well, my mother Divine Liii loves to give these definitions, so I'm gonna let him take it away
You know
real
how
quick.
I love to do it, man. You know how I love to do it. Hey, and to say that information is easily accessible, it's just up to us to go out there and do the job, do the work. So, what is culture, you may ask? Well, cultures is the customs, the arts, the social institutions and achievements of a particular nation, people,
Mm,
or other social group.
mm. And some may ask, why do we bring up this conversation about culture? Well, as I have this little snippet from this article, it says, how important is culture in shaping our behavior? Technically, culture is always in the news, and not just in the arts and entertainment section of our newspapers. It is like an unacknowledged water to a fish or oxygen we breathe.
Mm.
It's all around us at all times. So how important is culture?
Hey, let's build on that right quick, because when you really think about it, like you said, it's always us being televised, our culture, our behaviors in a way where, through arts, through these social institutions slash colleges, we tell people what they're supposed to learn, how they're supposed to communicate with each other. Like, do we truly identify what culture we uphold, or are we just depictions of what the social media norm is?
Mm, you eating it up right now, man. Shalom, family. Shalom, family. It's nice to see you here on another one of the Brew Table Talks, live and direct. You know how we like to give it up. Yeah, we on all platforms:
Hey,
Facebook,
we
YouTube.
in here. We in here.
Most definitely, most definitely. Um, so let's talk about culture, because most people have a very narrow perspective of what they think culture is. What does it mean for when people say do it for the culture? Isn't that essentially saying do it for tradition? But where are
Mm.
you getting these traditions from? And how many different levels are there with traditions? Let's bring up this slide real quick. There's different levels of culture. You have personal, community, society, and work culture. And they're all provide a different influence on you as an individual on a day-to-day. And personal, you have the customs at home and behaviors. This may influence your morning routine and how you view living. Is it a curse? Is it a blessing? How do you wake up in the morning? How do you view life? Right? Then we have community, which is the social institutions within a group of people. How do we interact with each other? Right? How do we speak to one another? Right? Then we have society, the promoted ideal, art and music displayed of a community. See, this is the community on a bigger scale. And this could affect your media outlook, like current events happening in the world. And this is where you find a lot of your social norms being exposed and put on to a lot of different people. And lastly, but not least, is work culture, which is the achievements and goals of providing a service to a community. What's considered a good job? Some cultures, they say, hey, as long as you bring in money in, your job really doesn't matter. Is that the same
Mm.
thing for our culture and our community? Do we have respect onto the janitor? Do we have respect onto the garbage man? These are necessary parts of our community, but what does our culture teach us about? What is our societal norms about these things? And what's expected of you at work? Work ethic, being on time, those are things that are culture, which we could also say that culture is the truest sense of what the society expects to be its standards, its norms. Lee, I'll let
Man,
you jump in real quick.
And to be honest, the first thing that I feel like we have to identify is the personal culture. Like, how can we even get to work culture if we don't identify what we're doing before we even get to work? What is the daily behaviors that we engage in when we wake up? Like you said, bro, having a daily routine, having a morning routine of your behaviors, how you communicate with yourself. Like, and just to share my experience, brother, and knowing that, the Almighty, all praises to the Most High, just being able to send forth my praises every day I wake up, knowing that, hey, it's another twofold. You know what I like to say? It's another twofold. So what I'm gonna do with it when I wake up, it's another opportunity for me to behave in a manner that resembles my culture, that resembles how I want my life to be portrayed. And so as a people, I think we need to identify literally what we do in the house before we even leave, because that's, hey, what's done in the dark will show. It's gonna show in how you communicate in a society. It's gonna show your work ethic and everything like that. So it's just being aware of all that, especially the foundation, which begins in the home. So personally, having a culture that I identify with and having a community of people who also, when I'm not looking, when they're in their house, I expect for them to have righteous behaviors. You feel me?
Right. And this is something that starts off at adolescence, at the young. It says this in Proverbs real quick. Train up a child in the way he shall go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Saying, hey, these things, the culture that we impose is something that starts at youth. What we are expected to do, the music that we listen to, the examples that are given unto us, we start taking in all of this at a young age. So how important is culture?
For real. Facts.
Well, definitely. You know how we give it up here.
Hey, my thing is, what do you be doing? What are your plans when you first wake up? Like, what are your routines where you're able to cooperate within a society, expand in a community, and then whatever job that you're doing, you're able to not only make a profit, but it's a product or a service that makes everybody around you better. So what is your culture like, bro? I think we really need to expand on just hitting these points so everybody can truly comprehend. Like, because within a community, how do you even know how you're supposed to act when you have media portraying people in a different fashion? How we literally communicate our social institutions, like, people expect for you to be disrespectful to them because that's expected throughout the media and how people communicate. Like, that's like a normal trait in society right now. And is that a part of our culture?
Most definitely. I think that's pivotal what you just brought up. Like, culture can, like I said earlier, can be what you expect, right? It's a tradition, right? And with it being traditions, if these are the normal things that we do on a day in and day out, repetition is one of the fastest ways to change something. What do we consider to be normal behavior? You get me? And where do we build these principles on how do we interact with people? Because I'm going to tell you this, man, we go to music, we go to any of the arts, they show us only being toxic. They only show us being in pure madness.
For real.
The sun is hitting on us. So where do we find adequate understanding of how important culture really is? This is why we look at other people. Like, we look at the Japanese people and we like, wow, look at their culture, look at their traditions, look at their heritage. They have one. They rock by it. They stand by it. Look at the samurai code. When we look at certain places and we see that culture is vastly important. Vastly important. It comes into the house. It comes into every dynamic that you really could think of is something that is a structural thought that culture has helped aided your environment. So that's something to keep in mind.
And this topic, art and culture, is definitely something to discuss, though, because as we look at society right now, is this really our art that is being displayed truthfully? Can we call it art when you could slap a banana on the wall and be like, "Oh my gosh, that's thought provoking"? Like,
or is it social engineering?
For real. Is that considered culture now, where you can literally engineer thoughts inside people's mind and make them behave a certain way? Like, is that culture or is that manipulation? Deterioration, literally, of behaviors to perform and engage in acts that don't even correspond with life.
Goes back to what we said in enterprise. What are we building? What are we saying? What are we doing? And if the culture doesn't serve us, we should get rid of it and create a new one, because it's our traditions. So it's
Melanin Sun said mind manipulation to the fullest. Hey, and is that literally culture though? Like, when you can look at somebody and say you're moving out of normal human behaviors, but as a community we seem to accept it because that's all we see. Like, and then you do have brothers who speak with a form of intellect where we're able to, man, shout out to you, Brother Leon, because to say that I'm able to engage with somebody on a higher form and intellect and showcase art that actually makes us like question who we truly are and move in a fashion knowing that, hey, we're here for a reason and for a greater purpose than just the what Brother Ringo be saying, pump and dump, man.
Exactly. So let's move forward, right? Let's really expand a little bit more on some of the talking points we got for you guys, right? So we're going to bring this up. Culture and art shows us what we allow. An outlook of the world and what are worthy aspirations on how we treat the environment and what is our environment, what is ideal for the future. I mean, when we really look at people with their political beliefs, or if they say they're left wing or right wing, or they think they're supposed to be like this or that way, typically that's a school of thought. And culture is a school of thought. It's something that's imposed on you from young, not saying that you can't cast down imaginations and strongholds. I got you. But if you come from a place that murder is on your mind, right? Guess what that same person who made that song committed murder. Now he's in prison. You get me? So if we're in this gang culture, right? We're in this death culture, and then our art reflects what we show. What are we allowing? Since the culture is our traditions. The culture is our traditions. The culture is what we decide.
When you literally have a people and you could put a camera to shine a light on how these people behave, and you got people supporting this type of behavior, that is it meant for our progress? How can treating someone wrong meant to progress life? Or how can telling the next person, hey, I'm gonna run up on you with a stick, or I'm gonna do you in, you feel me, F you, and how do we communicate like that and believe that it's acceptable? How do we allow that communication to even take place?
And that's why we had that song in the beginning, MCG.
Hey,
We're masters, we're creators, we're designers, we're geniuses
you're genius.
fighting back. Because that's our culture. That's how we get out of this system of this school of thought, this institution that we can only harm one another.
Mm.
You feel me?
Hey, I'm with you, brother.
So it's important for us to really understand the habits and traditions that we do affect us.
Man, I just wanted to harp on that a little bit more, man, about how you brought out culture and art shows us what we allow, but then it's like how to treat the environment. Literally, when you can look at life and say, are there things growing? Are we in a society and environment that's deemed sickly? Is there pestilence and famine around? Like the environment, the environment, bro. Like people know how basically something around them makes them feel good. Like if you are at a beachfront, you know your environment. You're typically at peace. You're peaceful. Think about an environment that portrays nothing but hate and spite and just no love for one another. Think of what environment you create when you're walking down a city that's known for nothing but trap music.
And that's the important thing you just said. It's what you create. See, if we can't change your physical environment, you could change your mental environment. That's how you start changing their culture, because guess what? Those rules, those principles, those things that you stand on changes everything around you. You start manifesting, you start creating an environment that's conducive.
Bro,
But
I
you
think
have to
you
know
got to
that you
speak on that.
created.
I think you got to speak on that. What are worthy aspirations? I think you got to speak on that one, bro.
All depends on what you hold as a holy grail. All depends on what you hold as supreme. Because some people chase money and they say that's supreme. And that's what they find as a worthy aspiration. Because we have a culture that promotes chase the money. It's all about the Benjamins. It's money puts you on the top of the world. But then they don't tell you about all the things that the love of money can destroy. Right? And they don't tell you about, well, it's lonely at the top if you tear everyone down trying to get to the top. It's lonely when you don't turn around and lift the other people up. You know? But the environment that you create in your head is how you start to change everything else around you. If you have no control around what's happening, what murder happened, what's on the news, you have control over your reactions or how you perceive the world and how you decide to move forward. And you know that the power is in your hands. Let no one, no man, no woman, no entity, no deity, no item, no idol deceive you and tell you otherwise. Because you do have that power. That power is imminent. It's given to you from birth on, hey, if you don't like it, go change it. Have a problem solution mentality instead of a problem victim mentality. Don't let that culture be something you submerge yourself into. Now you got me over here preaching.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
But that moves on to bringing out how art and culture reflect us and being a representation of what we perceive, right? So let's bring it out, right? And we're going to just do this. Thank you. All right. Art and culture affects our life. Art and culture are an important part of everyone's life, but a lot of people don't realize just how much culture and art influences their life. In fact, many people grow to be the people that they are based upon the art and culture that they're exposed to as children and as young adults. Are you interested in learning more about how art and culture have affected and continue to affect your life, as well as lives of famous people like Aubrey Churchnick? You get what I mean? Culture identifies behaviors of people. And guess what? We understand that there's a physical thing and there's a spiritual thing. So these conditions and these repeated times that you are allowing tradition to rule over you allows and opens you up to negative energy, to spirits, to seducing spirits, and tell you it's okay to knock that man's head off for him coming at you sideways. That's what the culture says.
Mm.
And the ability to identify where the root of this is can identify the influence of culture and to change the impact.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Hey, that's when we talk about impact, what literally influences our behavior besides culture, besides art, and besides people actually coming together within a community and agreeing on something. That's culture. When we able to come together in a society and say we approve of this and we cooperate with this idea, with this portrayal and these set of behaviors. And it's like really even taking the time and putting together this information, it helped me gain a lot more intuitiveness on culture actually being a tool in either form or fashion that we may want to use it, because you can identify someone's behavior, but to say that who's to say it's right or wrong, but when you're giving it in a set of that represents cooperation with what, you know, what are you cooperating with? Who are you saying, hey, we agree with you on this? And that forms the culture. So it's like culture literally influences you. As we had to see, I don't know if you watched it or not, but the Super Bowl, you feel me?
I watched the halftime just to see what message they was putting out.
And you could say that that's like an influence on people to see their favorite musicians. Like people literally watch Super Bowl for halftime. Just
exactly
to see the influence that it has over time on people to even show their attention to these artists and these musicians, to be like, hey, yeah, this is what I was rocking to back in the day, and this is what influenced me to do what I do. Look at me doing this dance, or look at me singing this lyric, because this is what I cooperate with. Like the influence is above and beyond what we may think.
Yo, there was this one thing that came on and said, this Super Bowl is going to be the one Super Bowl that you're going to see your parents act a fool. Because that's their culture, showing how they always used to act rebellious and act out. And I'm not saying, and their culture influences new culture, man. When we look at those people, we look at the Super Bowl, we look at the people that was on the Super Bowl. How many artists and rappers have those Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar has inspired negatively or positively to make music and show them that, hey, this is the way how to get it. I mean, Snoop Dogg is a Crip, man. And he made Crip walking cool. Eminem used to be on drugs, man. And they said, hey, maybe being on drugs might be a way to expound upon his greatness, because they surmised that he had a falling after he decided to not do that anymore. That's culture. That's art. That's culture being happening. This is why it's important that our perspective and how we allow certain things to be representations of ourselves matter. This is why media representation matter, because it reflects your community. It reflects your society. It reflects your personal life and what you deem to be okay.
Mm.
And that influence that culture has spreads like wildfire. But is it a part of our culture to have these intellectual talks on how to move forward?
Ooh. Let's change the culture, brother. Let's change our behaviors to come together at the brew table, man, to be able to have these talks that make us really think about what's for the future. What artwork will be displayed in the future if we keep on continuing on this path? What will be an acceptable behavior if we keep on allowing individuals to portray us in a degraded manner?
Hey, Jeremiah 6:16.
Bring it
Thus saith
out.
the
Bring
Lord,
it out.
stand thee in thy ways and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. So when people be like, old school is the best school, it's better than new school, there's some truth to that. Some things the elders have figured out and it works, and we should impart that. But we don't have a culture of when the adolescents go and ask the elders, because guess what? These elders are promoting wild behavior. I mean, we have the same people that were in the civil rights movement, in the Black Lives Matter movement, in the what am I thinking about? The Black Panthers movement, advocating for our women to behave in all these different types of ways that doesn't reflect a good culture, right? Then we have these quote unquote alleged godfathers, which no one's a god, but you get what I'm saying. The forefront, the pioneer of these behaviors that are not conducive to the culture, that actually puts more divide between man and woman than they bring together. But we're supposed to be able to ask these elders. We're supposed to be seeking them. We're supposed to be seeking after the old past, because guess what? Some things did worked a lot better than what we're trying to do now. I mean, we had a conversation about education and how our education is going on a decline. So obviously some of the things they did back then actually worked. And we can't be naive to think that everything we're doing is brand new. It says there's nothing new under the sun. So let's get into a pure concept and let's try to expand upon it. You feel me?
Most definitely, bro. And when you even talk about bringing back the old, it's like, hey, just listening to some of the music back in the day, you feel me? Those love songs back in the day, it was just so much more felt presence of just being loved, man. Now you listen to some of the R&B artists today, some of the influential artists that talk about love in their song. It ain't even love no more. It's more so lust. So it's like
they had decorum when they spoke, that you could listen to it and the public eye, and you'd be like, okay, they in their feelings. Nah, we have this term called being in your bag, and we talking about going to the skeletons in the closet. So yeah, you're talking about the behavior that's only supposed to be known intimately between a man and a woman, between a person's spouse, the significant other, and it's being broadcast because we have no safeguards. Our culture is all out of whack. Our art is reflecting that.
How important is culture? when it can literally influence you to behave in a certain manner that's isn't necessarily good for you. Hey, bring back those old ways, man. Heavenly Father, come on, man. Hey, show me the way, show me the light. Because it gets to the point where I'm looking not just at my generation, but the next generation. Where I was telling you, where I took my little cousin to the art museum here in Chicago, and the first thing that we seen when we were walking in was like statues of naked babies. We seen a huge statue with two men kissing, and with a ribbon at the bottom that said justice.
Hey,
I look,
and
hey,
is that what you want your culture to be? Your personal
bro,
culture in your house to be?
I looked at my cousin and I asked her, I was like, is this acceptable artwork? Is this acceptable behavior? And she was just like, I mean, this is what we see all the time. So yeah.
Let's bring this out. Let's bring this out real quick. Let's bring this out, right? What is the truest is art the truest expression, right? In this article it says, how does art influence society? Art influences society by changing opinions, instilling values, and translating experiences across space and time.
Mm.
Research has shown art affects the fundamental sense of self. Wow. Wow. So when we have art, we have music that tells us that it's okay to be merciless dealing with our own people, then that says that our sense of worth is, if you step on a man's Jordans, that's it. That's all that's written for you. You stepped on the wrong person. You caught the wrong person today. You remember what they used to say, bro? We used to be like, you got the right one today. You got the
Man,
right one. We used to have that spirit on you and everything, man. And that's what our art reflects. You have, what about love? Love is I screw him and I take some money and I dip.
Mm.
That's all he's worth, a bag, and I'm gone. You have men saying, screw these broads, screw these this. They ain't worth none. You can't trust them. And that's our art, man. So what are we telling men? We're telling men, hey, that woman's just gonna take your money. We're telling women, hey, they don't trust you. They think that you're up to something sneaky. Guess what happens then? Oh, well, since that's what they believe, that's what I'm gonna do. Since I'm already condemned for it, I might as well commit the crime because I'm already serving the time.
Mm. You hit on a note where you said in the article, art transcends through space and time, and be able to connect and not only influence the people of your time, but the people of the next generation. To say, people will know Michael Jackson for years, and people will be influenced to emulate his artistry,
Mm-hmm.
his way that he sings, the things that he was singing about. People will try to emulate that. And how can
Mm-hmm.
you separate the words from an artist and say, oh, that isn't how this artist behaves? How can you separate the art from the artist, saying, oh, he just made that picture, that ain't really what he think? Like, when we really look at being creative, being creators, being geniuses, when you create a bomb, what is in your mind? Like, literally, oh, I'm making a bomb to help people out. No, you feel me? Like, you just made this bomb to destroy something. But say that you have great ideas to create and influence people through positivity. Hold on, I'm gonna create a boys and girls club. You know, I'm gonna make sure that every person that comes in is able to express themselves freely. We'll have positive interactions with them. We'll communicate with them and tell them they're geniuses. And having that culture and identifying, literally saying, this is what influences me to be great, by producing great artwork, by communicating on a level that expresses intelligence, and also by behaving in a way where people can see there's something greater behind this individual, not just what the environment depicts or portrays us as.
Most definitely. And you know what? You hit on a part that I want to speak about real quick, right? And Deuteronomy says this: Remember the old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, and thy elders, and they shall tell thee. When you said about how people are going to look back at Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, look at all these people, right, and what they have done. Our elders, our our parents, our community is supposed to be able to tell us, well, that was good or was that bad? What was the
Mm.
effects of that? How did that happen over time? What were the repercussions that followed after said event? What was it like to be there? What was it like to see these atrocities taking place and why we should never do it again? Or how, when this prosperity happened, how did we get to this prosperity time? Why is it important that we keep these laws, we keep this going, and we keep that going? And that's important. It's important to have elders. It's important to have people that you can look to and they can tell you the history and the implications of that history because of the culture and the art that reflects from it, because of the events that trickle from it. I mean, hey, art, music has influenced people's mindsets about war.
Mm-hmm.
They used to use music as a beating to the drum in war to get everyone on one accord, to keep that militant, mighty spirit. That's art. They was able to impart that understanding or that intention onto a multitude of people.
And when we even speak on art, we're not just talking about music, but also the form of movie making as well
Mm-hmm.
is an artwork. Poetry is an artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, even what we're doing right now is art, spoken word, being able to move through creativeness of thoughts is art. To be able to establish a point and be able to create a depiction, a portrayal of your mind onto reality is art. So when we look at all these influences throughout different medias of art, where's our culture? Where's our behavior geared towards? What are we paying attention to? What do we support as far as art and culture? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then is it up to us as the generation that's literally coming into fruition right now? How do we identify what we got to do and support and uphold so that we're not surrounded with a land of people that look at each other as enemies, with the land of people that create music that literally influences people to, hate each other. At the end of the
Exactly.
day, these don't bring people together. You see, I think it was Brother New Breed or Brother Ringo talking about the club scene. It's like the people in the club are separated. Like
Yeah.
they don't even be dancing with men and women no more. Like, why? What?
Even the worldly side don't, because there's a great divide. And I wanted to touch on that art real quick and expand upon, yeah, art is vastly outside just music, literature, right? We have, they say that a picture paints 1,000 words, right? Paintings have changed people's inceptions and perception of life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And music is just one of the ones that we're most commonly acute have an acute understanding of, and it's constantly around us. But those videos that you watch on YouTube, that's art. Editing that's going into the content that goes into it, that's art. It takes a certain level of creativity to do these things. To be a good YouTube influencer or content creator, you're creating content. Art is creation. So you get me?
You a
Let's
master,
go.
a creator, a designer. Call
Designer.
you genius.
Genius. Hey. And that's why that song is so pivotal because it puts the power back into your hands. Let's move on real quick to this next slide. Right. And it says, and this is from the Britannica, it says art as a means to truth or knowledge. One of the things that has been alleged to be the purpose of art is that its cognitive function, art as a means to the acquisition of truth. Now, my question is this: what kind of truth are you trying to acquire? Are you the truth of your perception of what's going on around you? Is it the truth of how these things make you feel? Is it the truth of how you view the world? Right? Art has even been called the avenue to the highest knowledge available to humans, and the kind of knowledge impossible of attainment by any other means.
Mm.
It's something special when you have your brain firing in all different cylinders, trying to put a message behind something that's not direct all the time. An indirective mean, do a median. You get me?
Man, let me expand on that right quick, because that brought me to something where, the art having a purpose in this world. And when you really look at it, where does art come from but inside the mind? And the behaviors that we engage in influence our mind. The things that we see literally influence how we interact and respond. So the purpose of art is to showcase our behaviors, to showcase how we communicate. And when we can make a piece of artwork where we don't even have to speak words, but the message is translated through time and space by a snap of a finger right now, due to social media, due to the World Wide Web. You can post a picture and it can affect someone miles away. It can have a long-lasting effect that lasts for years, besides just talking to someone in your immediate environment, besides just creating just regular depictions of artwork of using a canvas. Like, yeah, if you're a well-known artist, how many people will actually see your artwork via now, where you can post something on the internet and it could go viral, and you can have influence over many individuals and how they look at life and say, oh, that is truth. Oh, I cooperate with that message because I identify and understand that, because that's a part of my life. We're going to uphold these behaviors. Let me share this. Let me support this, because this is what I think the truth of life is, because that's how I think as well. These are the behaviors that I engage in as well.
And that moves straight into, is that art creating life, or is it cultivating death? How is it influencing you? You get me? What message are you supporting when you follow into or you pursue after these different types of art? The accessibility of this art have not been put onto archives that's supposed to say outlast anyone's in particular lifetime. So now it's even more important on why choose deaf culture over life music or life art. That being pro-life, you get me? It's crazy. You have the choice is yours. But which one are you going to promote? How long are you going to take these traditions that we talk about as an option, and you say no more? When you start leading by example,
Hey, and that's huge. And to be able to have a choice over what influences your mind is pivotal. And knowing that there are other examples out there of leadership, of someone making a way. When you really look at the media and what they try to portray, it's literally, they're only one-sided, because they only want you to think like that. They only want you to behave in such a manner. When you listen to these radio stations, some of them are only geared towards a certain individual who tends to support that type of music. Say that another individual tried to release like gospel music on some of these mainstream radio stations, they're gonna be like, hold on, we can't play that here because that's not the programming and artwork that we display. That's not where we get our support from. That's not what our people are programmed to listen to. You know, we're over here on this culture. We're behaving like this. If I play that, my people are going to look at that and say, hey, that ain't the way that we moving.
True. And just to show that there's different options, here's a great example. Let's look at food and the different types of food that we eat, right? We go to, and how we eat food and why we eat food, right? We go to across the globe, you know, currently we're in America. We go over there to a more Asian based, they sit and kneel on the floor when they eat food. Right? When we go into a more of American home, we sit in chairs. That's tradition, right? Now, they might have a drink. We might have drinks. The different types of foods that we eat, right? That's culture, right? And why we look at the food that we eat. Do we just look at food? We just look at art as something merely to consume, or does it have a purpose? And are we going to move in the understanding of that purpose? You know, because when you fast, your look on food changes. You understand it's not necessarily just what you like to eat, but what's good for your body. Because now you're able to eat those things that maybe you had a palate that didn't like it as much, but now you're able to eat it because you understand that food is supposed to be your life onto many days.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's big in behavior too, because it's like, what do you eat, how you eat, and why you eat. When you look at people nowadays, there's a certain media that's out where people literally just eat to post it online. Mukbangs, like, why are you eating all this food just to show yourself eating? Like, what purpose is that? And literally, when we identify what we eat, the things that we eat, what behaviors do they engage in? What do the things that we eat? You feel me? So what are the things that we consuming? What artwork are we consuming that consumes that artwork?
Yeah, what's the artist's intentions?
You know?
What's the author's intent?
Hey, bring it out. Bring it out.
You know, it's very important to understand the source of something that you're going to be consuming all the time. You know, we make traditions and habits because of ease, but we also have to make sure that when we make these traditions and these habits, that it's something that's beneficial. And as soon as it's not beneficial, we need to change it. As soon as you know better, you do better.
You know?
All right.
No, that's 100 right there. As soon as you know better, you do better. But if art influences you to do bad, and then you have media to portray, hey, this is good because everybody supports it, how do we really even identify as a culture, as a nation, as a community of people? What is living together and cooperating? What is truly being in peace? How does a culture progress? How does art influence you to be better?
Good question. I'll say this. Has our community always been like this? Answer is no. We've had progressive periods. That's why it's important to seek the old past and to be able to ask our elders, or we be able to look up the information on and then follow in their footsteps and then set a new trail ablaze. You get me? That's the whole importance of that. It's not to say that the old past is where we're just going to stay and we're going to stay archaic and we're not going to use phones because of the Puritan age and we're not going to do this. No. Understand that, okay, society has moved forward, but the principles in man have not moved forward by much in the aspects of what we do, what we think, and how we react. There's this one quote, I think it's by Will Smith, and he said, running and reading will solve and help solve all your problems. For running will build that character to keep pushing forward, and that reading is that any problem you're having, someone else probably had or did have and wrote it in a book. And I know that's a little oversimplified, but the message is powerful. The message is powerful.
No doubt on that.
Go ahead, bring it out.
Culture is what we allow. What are we allowing? What are we supporting? What are we inspiring people to think? And what type of communication do we allow to take place? To say, I can only speak from experience. When I am in contact with my brothers, when I am in contact with my family, it's nothing but love. And to say I can communicate from a space of peace. I can share artwork that shows progression of my mental and saying, hey, I made this out of pure peace, out of pure love, showing that anything is possible. You know, when I'm over here designing a fashion, it's for the culture, my behaviors, what I do in the house. Because I believe that faith that anything is possible with the desire to be extraordinary. I create art in that fashion. So it's like being able to identify what we allow on a personal level. And then it expands into the community. It expands into the society, and it expands literally into what we provide, what we bring into the space of growing, of nurturing, of nature. Like you said, bro, the environment literally is influenced by culture as well, by our behaviors.
And you know what? With that being said, we're going to welcome on people in the audience in the overflow. And you get to talk about what is your culture? What are the things that you're trying to impose and that you think it would be beneficial to bring to the table? So without further ado, links in the chat. Anyone's free to come up, expound upon this topic of art and culture, and show how we move forward. It's brews of like mind.
Yeah, no.
The brews is not just men. Anyone is free to come up, have something pressed upon on their spirit. Right? And as we wait, we're going to put some more inspirational, inspiring music. We'll give it about like 3-4 minutes. All right.
Come on through. Tell us what your behaviors are personally, you know. Tell us what you support in the artistries. Hey, and then this is how we all grow in the community together, by actually communicating. When we're able to say, oh, this is what we like, this is why we like it, and this is what it portrays to me. And having a community that is on the forefront of speaking about their motives and intentions, man, it only makes us stronger. It only makes us more connected. So, like my brother said, we opening up the chat. Man, come through. Come see what it do. Oh, you put on that elevated, man. You put on that elevated.
Most definitely, because we're trying to elevate. We're elevating our culture.
That's the only way.
Feeling so elevated. Let me turn this up a little bit.
Yeah. So elevated, simulated like 2K. We don't play, we just pray. Stimulated, melanated mentality.
Just pray.
How you see the whole picture in totality? By just peeping, looking through the peephole. I see through the peephole. I keep it simple. My message, faith and desire, attire so heavenly, divinely fabricated, designed, designated to inspire. May I require,
you know,
feeling, have faith and be flyer. So buzz, just been a light yet to infinity and beyond. They try to beat you through the gates.
And it's no pressure. It's no pressure, family. I know we putting you on the spot, but hey, we kind of try to keep the table open.
You
New
know,
thoughts, inspirational. So we're gonna leave it off on this note. If no one wants to come up, that's fine. Just know that the table is always open. We're gonna start doing this more often. So hey, we talk about a topic that you know a lot about. You want to impart that knowledge on? Show us, so we can elevate. Most definitely.
feeling so elevated.
Feeling so elevated, feeling so elevated, feeling so
Yeah.
feeling so elevated, feeling so elevated, feeling so
My culture is feeling so elevated, man.
feeling so elevated, feeling
Most
so
definitely, man.
feeling so
So elevated.
feeling so feeling so elevated, feeling so feeling so elevated, feeling so
Oh, okay, we got someone. Hold up.
feeling so
We got someone in here. It says your device is not connected. Once your device is connected, we'll straight let you in. All right.
elevated, feeling so
So elevated. Hey.
Feeling so elevated. Feeling so. Feeling so.
Shalom,
Shalom,
shalom.
shalom, Victorian.
Yo,
Yeah.
shalom to Israel. Shalom. I saw you. I saw you.
Man, it's all love, family. It's all love.
All right, cool. Oh,
Look
wow.
like we got somebody else in the chat as well.
Yeah, we got more people in the chat. All right, let's get to it then. Let's start elevating. Start
You know?
opening up this conversation. So I want to let Melanie's son in first because she was here first, and then we're going to move on to the next person. All right, I'm going to add you in, and we're going to switch it like this. So, hello, how you doing?
Hi, peace and blessings, you guys.
Peace
Peace
and
and
blessings.
blessings.
Peace and blessings, Melanie.
So, what's your culture? What do you have to expand upon this topic and to add and to build with the brew table?
Where to start? I'm a bit rusted.
It's okay, no pressure.
Well, how can I start off by explaining like what are my behaviors, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a great place to start. Like things that you notice that you changed because this isn't working. For instance, I know you spoke about bringing children out of school. That could be something you can expand upon. That's new culture,
Yes.
homeschooling, being in the house.
Yes, that is something that's been on my mind of kids being homeschooled instead of being in the school system. My son is 15, so I had taken him out of the school for that particular reason.
And what have you seen that benefited him and scout and elevated his understanding? Like, what are the benefits are you seeing from changing that culture of always putting our children into a system that doesn't always want the best for them?
Well, my son, he does have anxiety, so it all has to do with the mental, I believe, because mental plays a huge part, especially with the young youths and still to this day and age. So I think mental is very important to be looked at more heavily. I know it's a topic that's being shunned away a lot of the time, and I really do think mental health is the key for the youth generation and for adults as well.
My question for you,
pardon me?
I got a question for you.
Yes.
So what do you think plays a role on the mental state? And is this something that you've seen in your generation where kids in my generation literally identify with mental health disorders, and I feel like, shouldn't your generation have the solutions to that? Or did you even encounter anything as this in our nature? And was this a part of your culture, having these mental lapse or mental irritations or even anxiety, or as you can say, autism, these mental
Yes.
disorders? How displayed were there in your generation?
Great question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, well, majority of my life, yes, I have experienced, my darkest hours of darkest days, and I've, there's a lot that I have seen and experienced, especially when it comes to the young youth generation. Um, Anxiety, depression. I I enjoy being around children a lot. Um, Children, they mean everything to me. So when it comes to their well-being and their mental health, it is it's something that needs to be paid attention to more often, because it's something that's just being pushed aside and not being looked
Mm,
at often with the young youth generation above
that's
all anything else. So I
that's
don't
powerful.
know if I don't know if I'm explaining myself the right way.
Let me build
But
on that real quick. I think what you're saying is that right now, currently, we are not providing that environment for these children to excel mentally. We're not
yes,
instilling these children with the vision to be much greater. We're not taking the time to sit down and have those talks, be like, well, what do you want to do? You can do anything. So what does that mean? And understanding that there's going to be a little pushback, there's going to be some trials and tribulations, and keeping it 100%, keeping it a buck 50 with these children as they're growing up, and not to discourage them, but just say, hey, all right, you want to do that? Let's do it. No quitting mentality. I think you brought out something very pivotal, and I caught what you were saying. I caught what you're saying. So don't
oh,
don't feel
okay.
any pressure. Don't feel any pressure.
um, yeah, it's I do understand where you're coming from. It's the environment. The environment is the key to the youth's mental. It plays a huge part on the youth's mental, and that's something that I am working on myself. Um, as you know, I recently came out of a situation, so like a lot has been happening, like bombshell after bombshell after bombshell.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to find the right tools to help me navigate better day by day to become a better version of myself, and as well as being there for my son as well, and for his mental
That's
as well.
dope. That is definitely dope. I mean, it's one thing to be able to say I have all the answers and I got everything, but to say, you know what, I'm realizing this is an issue, so I can start positioning myself to solve the issue, and that's powerful. We have another person in the chat. A great, it was great building with you, and we hope that you come on future lives and you so showing your support. We greatly appreciate it. Um, any final words that you wanted to impart onto the people?
Any final words? uh I just wanted to say to everybody, the storm doesn't last forever, And I know each and every one of us has gone through something, and it's never too late to get the help. It's never too late to get the help. And keep your head up and keep God first, always.
All
All
praise,
praises.
praise to the
All
Most
right,
High.
Melanie. It was great. All right, melanin, my bad. I'm terrible with names. People. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. It was beautiful. It was great. Have a blessed day.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
That time, no problem. Hey, our pleasure.
It was definitely. All right. We have another one who's been waiting in here for some time. Micah. Don't kill me if I said it wrong, please. Oh, he dropped out. I guess it looked like he was at work and what have you. Sorry, brother, we couldn't get to you. We have another one in the chat, but first let's address this comment that was brought up by Ruby. My son is 2, and everything I'm doing now is a setup where I can homeschool him while young. I might put him in public for the high school just for the social part and experience. That's great.
Let me build off that because that literally changed up the way we identify with our behaviors from youth. Like, do we even know who we give our children to when they go to school? And are they telling them the same thing that you may tell them while they're in the household? Knowing that, hey, I was an artist when I was a baby. And to say that, I had the pleasure of being in a 2-home household, but both of my parents had to go to work, So with that being said, many times I was at a daycare, fortunate enough for them to have the funds to put me in the home care service of someone else, not knowing literally what their intents were. But to say that you're able to homeschool, I feel like that is something in our culture that we need to start supporting, because you never know these people that have influence over your children, what they can influence them to do, or in a better sense of the word, what they engage with them in behaviors.
That was great. That was great explanation. All right, that's Micah came back in, so we're gonna add him in, and then we got the next person. All right, what's up? Something's going on. There you go. What it do, Art? You on the Brute Table Talk?
What it is, brother. What it is, brother.
I'm going to give it like another. Yeah.
Oh, you dropped out.
All right, so we're going to bring in his will. Oh, Mike is coming back.
Okay.
It just looked like he had a little latency issue.
Something going on with his connection.
All right, boom. All right. There you go.
What it do, brother?
What it do? Wow.
Yeah.
Man, it's not working. That's crazy. I'm sorry, yo. We can't even see you moving, and everything you're saying is like bugging out. Oh, yeah, it's bugging out. I want to give you some more time. Maybe you can get things into a better connection. We're going to move on to the next person. I got you in mind. And if you come on another live, I got you. We're going to have something that we can build exclusively with the people in the future. So don't think that you missed out on an opportunity. Oh, wow.
Wait, we got.
He just got cleared up.
Hey, brother. Hey.
It's getting better. I gotta walk around a little bit. Let me try to get the best connection. All right. So can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, brother.
Y'all can hear me? Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So basically this is I got a couple things I want to talk about. I ain't gonna hold y'all for too long. But about what you were saying with the books, like that really was perfect comment because basically I'm at my job right now, and I've been working to get a car. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I was like, man, it's gonna take me a while to get a car, and but I got some money saved, so I was like, I'm studying the Bible and stuff, but the thing is, I need to understand what to do when I have money, and I need to understand what my priorities are.
True.
And so basically, I was like, you know that verse when they say, the fear of God is knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And they was like, knowledge is power too. So I was like, yeah, you know, I'm working to get a car or whatever, but to be honest, I already have money that just sitting there and not being used. So the best thing I could do for myself before I even think about getting a car is reading, looking, searching
Self-investment.
for understanding, and reading books that
Breaking up. Breaking up. We can't hear you clearly.
Yeah, brother, we got a little mental disconnection going on.
All right, brother was breaking up real quick. I just took him down real quick just to clarify some of the things he was saying. It's very important that you self-invest, and that's something that's not found in our culture. Our culture is to go spend things on merchandise, to go buy Chanel, to go get red bottoms, to go get Nike, to go get Louis Vuitton. But those are just material objects, and if fearing the Most High is the beginning of all wisdom, and knowledge is power, well, knowing what to do with that resource is important. So, brother was bringing out a powerful point. It's a shame his connection was. Go ahead.
Let me build on that too, bro. Because to say that, what do we invest in as a culture? What are our behaviors? And to say he was kind of like, man, I want to get into the word, but I gotta go to work. You feel me? Like, and to say that he still finds time to invest into something that makes him feel good, which, you know, I can experience the Bible every time I give myself some time to get into it. It's an investment of time. That's what your job is too. You're literally investing time, your behaviors into getting a closer relationship. So when you think about what do we do as a culture, how do we behave from even our daily home environment, even to work? Like, why are we working? Why are we reading the Bible? You feel me? So
exactly
being able to identify all of that. So I kind of feel where brother was going.
Yeah, you
Man, I wish the connection was better, man.
I mean, we're gonna have.
Was.
Check this out. We're gonna have a live when we just build in with the people and all the topics. They don't even know. They don't even know. We're bringing it out right now. So we got something for you. And I'm thinking on making like a 2-part series. So one in the morning and one kind of like at the end of the night. We're gonna see. We gotta work things out to make sure Divine Liii and myself can be there so we can really build with you guys. We got something for you. Don't think you guys missed out if you're catching this on replay or this is not a perfect time for you. All right, so we're gonna bring up the next His will is real, real quick.
His will is real. Shalom, brother.
Shalom, brother. How y'all doing?
Man, all glory, all honor.
There we go.
To the Most High.
Yeah, man. All praise to the Most High. This it's crazy, y'all. This is what y'all talking about. Cause I woke up this morning, man, and I had a fire in me. Cause see, I do music, right? I could do music, but when I was in the world, you know how that goes. It's picky, it's choosy. This ain't what you want to talk about, stuff like that. And I have a lot of past investments and a lot of equipment. And right now, as I speak, I know I look kind of rough because I'm out here clearing out my studio, taking all the stuff out of the closets and stuff. And you know, I feel like the Most High was telling me, look, bro, see, it's about me now, so you don't got to worry about what other people thinking about what you're talking about. Go ahead and strip the studio down and and start building it back up. That's what I'm doing right now, man. Yeah.
You don't even understand how the spirit moves. I got something for you. I got something for you on a confirmation on that. But I don't want to say it on live because everything I say is going to be held accountable. And I'm not saying anything negative, but I'm not trying to give out anything before everything could be well said for. So just know that the spirit is moving. The spirit is moving. Divine Liii know what I'm talking about. The spirit is moving.
Hey, we
That's
in
a
tune,
confirmation.
brother.
That's a confirmation.
Yeah, that's it. I ain't gonna be here too long because it take a long time to get this stuff back up and but yeah, I'm gonna start get back. Look, check this out, brothers. You could tell how long this stuff been in my closets, right? You see this? It's all dusty.
Hey, he said he over there making them from scratch, right?
Yeah,
Look,
bro.
it's all everything all dusty and stuff. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to throw it in the dishwasher.
Bringing those talents out. I'll hit you up on your Gmail. That's my Gmail. I got something important to tell you. I'm probably gonna hit you up a little bit later after this live about exactly what you're talking about. And trust and believe, we got something for you. Keep pushing for it. Keep working for it, because the Most High is creating a way, and everything that He puts on you, know that it's not just for you, and it helps the elect. It helps the congregation. I mean, man, you just reignited the fire I felt earlier today, and know that, hey, it is possible, and I don't gotta do it all on my own. So, you're a blessing. Just even coming through real quick on that. Just letting it be known.
Yeah. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. Y'all a lot of motivation for a lot of people.
Man, hey, you're doing the same, brother. And I just had a quick question, you feel me, on the topic of art and culture for you, family. So, in the spectrum of you creating music, identifying truly the message behind the music, and I wanna ask you, do you think it really influences people's behaviors, what they hear in music?
100%, 100%, bro, 100%. I ain't gonna get into too much because I don't want to, bite my own tongue, but I'll tell you this. Music is so profound that even when you are in tap with the frequencies and stuff, you can have a favorite artist. Listen to them so much that you can take their just their perception of their music and write something and make it sound like it's just like them. But that's not just a lot of people know how to backbite off people. But when you're a ghostwriter, I used to do ghostwriting too. So when you can tap into that realm of frequencies or just music in general, and when you got the Most High with you, it's inevitable. It's unlimited.
Wow, that's strong.
Yeah. So I do, and as far as the culture concerns and the art, one thing that I do want to do, I want to start from scratch and start connecting with people and ghostwriting, doing my own, of course. Anything that, because I understand that whatever we do, sooner or later the world is gonna cleave to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even when as you see in the hip hop community, everything that we do, even though we're shunned by the world as being thugs, gangsters, stuff like that, all they do is listen to our culture music anyway. You know what I mean? Everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga.
Yeah. Woo! Bring it out.
But yeah, so I understand if the Most High can use me to the point where not only am I doing what I love, but I'm giving it to other people as well, and it pushes because everybody has their genre of people that follow them. You know what I'm saying? And it's our job. It's our job to spread the message of the Lord anyway. So when we understand that, then it's not just a selfish thing. Like, no, I ain't sharing this with nobody. this verse too hard, even though it don't fit me. It's too hard. I just can't let it go. No, there's a lot of things that you may write that the Most High might be like, good, okay, but I'm not finna allow your vocals to go that high or that low. You need to give this to somebody else. Yeah.
Most definitely. It's always a pleasure building with you. I know you said you got some cleaning to do. I don't want to take away from your mission for the day. Keep pushing on. I'm going to get in contact with you real soon.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
keep your eyes peeled out for that.
Shalom,
All right. Shalom.
Shalom, family. Shalom.
So that was powerful. For those who don't know, me and Lee had a conversation, very strong, very powerful. And what that Ak is doing is making a way for that conversation to really come into fruition. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. I ain't gonna expound too much on it. Just a little golden nugget. And then we have another person in the background. He's been waiting patiently. So let's bring him up.
Appreciate you, Ak.
Appreciations.
Yo.
All right, shalom, brother.
Shalom. What y'all doing? How y'all been?
Man, nothing but blessed, man, and power to progress, family. You already know.
I'm already knowing. I'm in school, so you know.
I got you.
Man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, family.
I'm Jaleel. I came into this truth about like really this year. Well, I came in like last year. Sometime it's like I opened my eyes. I've been watching you. I've been watching New Breed. I've been watching Ringo, Rollo, all y'all this year. So
Hey,
it's like
dope,
y'all really opened my eyes for real. So it's like I was like,
That's
dang.
dope. That is so dope.
Like, bro, I've been watching y'all. I'm like, oh dang, that's crazy. And then it's like with y'all, it's not like what these rappers like. I can really like expand with y'all and build. It's not like, oh, I'm idolizing somebody for their knowledge or what they got. So it's a blessing to be on here with y'all. But the culture, what I feel like what's wrong with the culture is you got everybody want to be gangsters. You got everybody want to be thugs. You got everybody want to be this, want to be that. Want the praises of man, and then it's just like it ain't even worth it. Like I used to be like that when I wasn't in the truth. Like I used to be like go out and spend all my money. Like my check be gone as soon as I get it. Want to buy this, want to buy that, take pictures, and then be like, oh, you drilled out. It's nothing like. But I came into the truth. I was like, dang, I gotta spread this on Facebook now. I'm over there on Facebook trying to spread the truth. I'm making little snippets about Leon, New Breed, and y'all. I think I made one with Leon where he was like, it ain't about reading and writing. It's about learning, unlearning, and relearning, which is
Hey,
yeah.
that was a powerful video, bro.
Nah, word. I ain't gonna lie.
Man, I'm over here smiling from ear to ear, bro, because it's literally, bro, you are the next gen, and what you allow for this creation of artworks and culture and accept is what the next generation is going to be operating off of. And to say that you have even given yourself a different perspective and different way of walk, like you calling us in from school, brother, like, hey, you over here,
education,
man, bro,
on two different levels. You get the scholarly, the academia, and then you get some of that spiritual soul food.
I knew like the books in this school, it make no sense. It never add up. Like when I was reading the Bible, I was in church, and then come to school that next Monday and read something totally different. Like, but what's wrong with the church is they're not teaching the right gospel. They're not teaching the right gospel at all. So I stopped going to church. I ain't gonna lie. I used to be in church. Used to be standing up. I'll be like, all right. And then I'll get in the scriptures. And then I'll be like, hold on. Saved is the one that does to the end. But the pastor keeps saying we saved. So I'm like, hold on. Nah, that don't even sound right. That don't even sound right at all. So I just stopped going to church.
That's powerful because you know what that says? It says that we're promoting a culture that makes us have critical thought.
Yeah.
you was able to look and say, you're saying one thing, but this book that you're saying you're getting the source from says another. And you was able to take the good and toss the evil. And that's a powerful trait, brother. That means that you're able to have some discernment. It means that the spirit's with you. Having discernment comes from the spirit. You get me? And you're right. A lot of us are showing the lights and glam of being a gangster, a thug, or a diva. People don't even know that those are actually terms that date back to, I believe, Buddhism, about those energies, and that those are curses, and that everything is connotated as a thug or a diva, and that whole description is imposed on our people.
Yeah.
That term itself goes way beyond. And it's a great, if you want, plug in your IG when you get back in the comment section. I'll check it out, or wherever you was chopping up and screwing videos, because that's spreading the message and powerful. Hey, some people can stay here for an hour and 30 minutes, and some people only have 5 minutes. So hey, use all different types of baits and lure, and keep trooping on, keep moving on.
Right. And then we use social media as like something we can really like build on, because like you see all these people posting dysfunctional stuff. You'll see like one godly post in there, and I'm like, bro, that makes no sense. How you gonna serve? You serving this and serving that? Like, come on now.
Yeah, you'll have some women and some men who have God, I believe in God, and they'll have a scripture in there and then do completely ungodly things.
After that, like,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's been a pleasure,
man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure building with you. When you're always welcome to come back. It's always great to connect with the youth and connect with elders as well. Everyone who's came up on these lives, it's a pleasure to build with you guys. You guys inspire us to keep moving forward. You guys are showing us that what we're doing is not falling on deaf ears. You guys are the ones who are saying, well, I could be Lot in Sodom in Egypt. And that's powerful. That's powerful. Because sometimes we think and we wonder, well, no one's listening. And then the Most High shows, no, he's listening. They're listening. They're tuning in here. What are you talking about? There's fruits of your labor showing. So you guys keep pushing us on. And I just want to say, I commend you guys for having the ears to see, or the ears to hear and the eyes to see. You feel me? Keep strong. Stay strong, brother.
All right. Shalom, brothers.
Shalom, shalom, family.
That's beautiful right there.
That's powerful.
That is beautiful right there, man.
Man, that's all love. All praises to the Most High, man.
Most definitely. I think I want to close out on a song that changes our whole perspective, that shows us to imagine.
Oh, man.
My new favorite song, man. So let's bring that up real quick, man. You already know I got it up. You already know I
got the Imagine joint. Okay. Hey, we need your verse on it, man. We need your verse on it.
Hey, they don't even know about that yet. Say too much.
Hey, gotta give them something to look for.
Hey, like minds can build together. But can you guys imagine soaring with dragons? Man, I love this song, man.
Now, can you imagine flying with dragons up in the sky, made a magic, just like a ladder, a whole new world, a whole new scene. Plant the thought, water the seed, grow like a tree, root your reality, be what you want to be fruitful and multiply. Creations identify. No need to wear a disguise. Blessed by the grace of design.
I don't need to wear a disguise.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine flying with dragons up in the sky?
Me too, Violet. Me too.
Like a ladder, A whole new world, a whole new seed. Plant the thought, water the seed. Grow like a tree with your reality. Be what you wanna be. Be fruitful and multiply. Creations identify. No need to wear disguise. Blessed by the grace of design. Melanated mind, I shine.
Hey,
Hey.
yo, y'all rock with this,
Now, can
man.
you imagine?
Brother Divine Liii has a whole playlist.
Now, can
His
you
hits
imagine?
right here, man.
Man, just trying to bring the artworks and vibes and, show them what culture I'm about, man.
Imagine. Now, can you imagine?
So, hey, Imagine's not the only one. Y'all rocking with this one. Y'all was rocking with the opening. You know, come to Divine Lii's page, man. Come tap in with greatness. All right, man. I love that song. I love that song so much. I wrote a verse for it, and we trying to get everything right so I can share it. We could share it with the people. We might have some future collaborations in the future, man. You never know what's possible when y'all's in you. Oh man,
Anything is possible, man.
Exactly, man. I think this is a powerful stream. I think you guys could look forward to allowing more guests on. This is the Brew Table Talks. It's not just Brew Talks, okay?
Yeah.
So the door is going to be open. We do have something planned for people who want to just talk about some of the topics that we've had or want our personal perspective on certain things, kind of like how I did on my live stream on Celebration. We just chop it up with the nation because these conversations, these discussions allow us to put our mindset in a positive environment to catapult, you know what I mean, to skyrocket. That's why the Most High tells us to meditate on his word daily, because those words, those laws can take us far beyond. So I'm gonna let Divine Liii say any final sentiments.
Man, to say, bro, every day I wake up, I feel empowered to progress more and more. And they say the faith the size of a mustard seed, bro. And to know that God is always with you. To have a community of people who also believe in the same behaviors and ideals and ideas of growing. To say that art and culture influences us to be whatever it is that we conceive in our mind. And when I read this book, it helps me create that art. It helps me create that behavior that no matter what, hey, I'm gonna keep the promise alive. You know,
Can you imagine?
Covenants. You feel me? I'm gonna keep that imagination alive to see us in a better light, man. It was an honor just to see sisters and brothers just get on this platform and we just able to speak and communicate and share love, share peace. And once we start gravitating towards actually uniting as a nation and building with each other, bro, man. Woo!
Man. And that's why we played those two songs. Know that you're a master creator, a designer, a genius, and you create the culture. You can imagine and create a brand new culture. It's not written in stone. You can create your own community, your own society, your own work life that has the culture that you want. This conversation was just to bring up how important it is to understand what the habitual nature it is. Now, what culture are you going to entertain? And with that, family, I say shalom and peace.
Peace and blessings, my people. Peace and blessings.
Love it.